Quest Foundation presents magazine Ma Swamini Prerna. Editor Shri Ajayh. Theme of this current issue is Divyangjan Samvedna અને પડકારની दुनिया. दिव्यांगजन, संवेदना और चुनौतियों की दुनिया. Divyangjan, a world of sensations and challenges. July-August 2023. Volume number 3. Issue number 15. With this special edition, we provide an insider view of the world of Divyangjan, the specially abled. Let us together understand the sensations and challenges from their side of the story. An egalitarian society. Our social and spiritual duty toward Divyangjan. Writer Sadhika Dr. Amrit Prajna. Disability or Divyang is a broad term which literally means reduction in the texture of an organ. Inability to reach a place, lack of hearing and vision are considered disabilities. Disability means physical or mental disability. Physical disability includes muscle and nerve and absence of hands and feet, etc., whereas mental illness, etc., have been included in mental disability. It can also be temporary, permanent, or continuously increasing. According to the World Health Organization or WHO, disability affects individuals in different ways, due to which day-to-day activities are affected. It is called disability. There are several types of disabilities, which can be categorized as follows. Physical disabilities. These are disabilities that affect a person's ability to move or perform physical tasks such as walking, standing, grasping, or coordinating movements. Examples include paralysis, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, amputation, and spinal cord injuries. Sensory disabilities. These are disabilities that affect a person's ability to see, hear, or communicate. Examples include blindness, deafness, hearing loss, and speech disorders. Cognitive disabilities. These are disabilities that affect a person's ability to process information, learn, and understand. Chronic illnesses. These are conditions that affect a person's health and well-being over a long period of time, such as diabetes, cancer, and HIV or AIDS. It is important to note that disabilities can vary in severity and impact from person to person. As a society, it is our duty to ensure that people with disabilities are treated with respect, dignity, and fairness. Here are some ways that we can support people with disabilities. Promote accessibility. We can make our communities more accessible to people with disabilities by ensuring that buildings, transportation, and public spaces are designed with accessibility in mind. This includes features such as wheelchair ramps, elevators, and accessible parking spaces. Provide support and accommodations. People with disabilities may require specific accommodations and support to fully participate in society. This can include assistive technology, sign language interpretation, or personal assistance services. Foster inclusive communities. We can work to create communities that are welcoming and inclusive for people with disabilities. This includes advocating for equal rights and opportunities and promoting understanding and acceptance of people with disabilities. Empower individuals with disabilities. It is important to empower people with disabilities to make their own choices and to live as independently as possible. This can include providing education and job training opportunities and promoting self-advocacy and self-determination. Challenge stereotypes and discrimination. We can work to challenge negative attitudes and stereotypes about people with disabilities and to combat discrimination and prejudice wherever it occurs. As a spiritual person, our duty towards people with disabilities is rooted in the values of compassion, kindness, and respect for the dignity of all human beings. Here are some ways that we can fulfill this duty. Practice empathy and compassion. We can seek to understand the experiences and challenges faced by people with disabilities and cultivate empathy and compassion for their struggles. This can involve actively listening to their perspectives, offering support and encouragement, and recognizing their inherent worth and value as human beings. Foster an inclusive and supportive community. We can work to create a community that is welcoming, inclusive, and supportive of people with disabilities. This can involve advocating for accessible spaces and services, supporting disability rights and activism, and promoting awareness and understanding of disability issues. Offer spiritual support and guidance. As a spiritual person, we can offer spiritual support and guidance to people with disabilities who may be struggling with questions of faith, purpose, and meaning. This can involve offering prayer, meditation, or other spiritual practices and providing a safe and supportive space for people to explore their spiritual beliefs and questions. Challenge ableism and discrimination. We can work to challenge ableism and discrimination towards people with disabilities, both within our own communities and in society at large. This can involve advocating for disability rights and accessibility, educating others about disability issues, and challenging negative attitudes and stereotypes towards people with disabilities. There are many examples of people with disabilities who have made significant contributions to society and achieved great things in their lives. Here are just a few examples. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was a renowned physicist and cosmologist who lived with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, a degenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. Despite his disability, he made groundbreaking contributions to our understanding of black holes, the universe, and the nature of time. Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo was a Mexican artist who lived with disabilities resulting from a bus accident in her teenage years. She became known for her vibrant and emotionally charged self-portraits, which often depicted her physical and emotional struggles. Helen Keller. Helen Keller was an American author, activist, and lecturer who was deaf and blind from a young age. Despite her disabilities, she learned to communicate through touch and went on to become an advocate for the rights of people with disabilities, women's suffrage, and pacifism. Marlee Matlin. Marlee Matlin is an American actress who is deaf. She became the first deaf actor to win an Academy Award for her role in the movie Children of a Lesser God. She has also been a vocal advocate for disability rights and accessibility. Here is the best example of Ashtavakra from Indian text. He was a sage and was born with physical disabilities. Ashtavakra's name means one with 8 bends or crooked in 8 places, which is said to refer to the 8 physical deformities that he was born with. Despite his disabilities, Ashtavakra was renowned for his wisdom and spiritual insight. He is considered one of the greatest sages in the Indian tradition and is believed to have written the Ashtavakra Gita, a text that expounds on the nature of the self and the nature of reality. The Ashtavakra Gita is considered a masterpiece of spiritual literature and is revered by many as a guide to spiritual enlightenment. Ashtavakra's life and teachings serve as a reminder that physical disabilities do not define a person's worth or potential, and that wisdom and insight can come from unexpected sources. His story is an inspiration to many, and his teachings continue to be studied and practiced by spiritual seekers around the world. These are just a few examples of people with disabilities who have achieved greatness in their lives. Ultimately, our duty as spiritual beings towards people with disabilities is to honor their humanity, recognize their inherent worth and dignity, and work towards creating a world that is more just, equitable, and compassionate for all. Love the vibe? Explore such interesting podcasts at www.questfoundation.org.in.